You've read the productivity books. You've built the color-coded planner, stacked the layered alarms, promised yourself that tomorrow is the day you finally lock in and become the person who has it together. And then tomorrow shows up, and you're wading through it like your head's packed with wet cotton, slow, foggy, reaching for a focus that used to come for free. Here's the part nobody says out loud. You're not lazy, you're not undisciplined, you're just trying to win the fight in the wrong arena. Tomorrow's productivity isn't decided tomorrow, not by the alarm, not by the coffee, not by how tightly you grip your morning routine. It's decided the night before, in the last quiet hour before sleep, the exact stretch of time you've been treating like the day is already over. And most people spend that hour quietly dismantling a day they haven't even started. Because here's what's actually happening. The moment you close your eyes, your brain doesn't clock out. It starts the most important shift of the entire day, filing memories, flushing waste, rebuilding the machinery you'll run on tomorrow. And whether that shift runs clean or falls apart is decided by one hormone that everyone's heard of and almost nobody understands: melatonin. The most oversold, most misread signal in your body. People swallow it like a sleeping pill and wonder why it doesn't knock them out. But melatonin was never a sedative. It's a timekeeper. It doesn't force sleep. It tells your entire body what time it is. Confuse it, and everything downstream, energy, focus, mood, willpower, gets the wrong memo. Stay with me, because this is where it gets almost unfair. Melatonin runs on darkness. That's its only real cue. As the light around you fades, your brain quietly starts releasing it, and a chain reaction begins. Your core temperature starts to fall, your heart rate eases, your mind loosens its grip. That's the runway to deep sleep. But your evening isn't dark. It's 1,000 tiny suns, ceiling lights blazing, a screen 6 inches from your face, the fridge glowing at you at 11 p.m. Your brain reads all that brightness and reaches one simple conclusion. It must still be daytime, so it holds the melatonin back. The runway never lights up. You lie there, technically in bed, biologically at noon. And here's the part that stings. You can still fall asleep like that. You'll still get your 8 hours in bed, but the sleep you get is shallow, broken, missing the deep restorative stages where the real repair happens. So you wake having slept and still feeling robbed. Same 8 hours in bed, completely different sleep, completely different tomorrow. There's a cleanup crew that only clocks in during your deepest sleep. Scientists call it the glymphatic system, and it does something almost gross when you picture it. It opens channels through your brain and rinses out the metabolic garbage that piled up all day, the literal residue of thinking. Skip the deep sleep, and that trash just stays. You wake with yesterday's mental exhaust still sitting in your skull. That's the fog. That's the wet cotton. It isn't a character flaw. It's unemptied garbage. And then morning arrives, and your body overcorrects, spiking your stress hormone too hard as you wake, so you open your eyes already wired, already anxious, already reaching for sugar and caffeine to patch a hole you dug at 11:47 the night before. Now zoom out. Before electricity, before screens, before blackout curtains and magnesium gummies, humans slept just fine. Researchers have studied groups still living close to that older rhythm. No artificial light, no mattresses worth mentioning, no wind-down playlists. And here's the odd part. They sleep less than you'd guess, around 6 or 7 hours, and they barely have a word for insomnia. It's nearly non-existent among them. They're not running a routine. They're just letting darkness fall and temperature drop the way their biology expects. Light in, light out. Warm day, cool night. Their melatonin fires on schedule because nothing around them is lying to it. That's the whole trick.
Not a supplement with a vowel-heavy name shipped from a place you can't find on a map. A body that still knows what time it is. So let's give yours the same honesty. 5 habits, each with a real mechanism under it. Each one taking the weight off tomorrow before tomorrow even exists. Habit 1. An hour before bed, kill the bright light. Most people do the exact opposite. They keep the overhead lights blazing right up until the head hits the pillow, then expect the brain to jump from noon to midnight in a single heartbeat. It can't. Melatonin isn't a switch, it's a slow fade, and bright light in that final hour stamps on the brakes. You already know the mechanism. Darkness is the only cue that counts. So an hour out, drop the ceiling lights. Move to one warm, low lamp. Turn the screen brightness way down. Or better, put the thing down entirely. What you're really doing is finally telling the truth. The sun has set, night is here.
And your brain, relieved, starts the fade it wanted to begin an hour ago. You drift off faster and you sink into the deep stages sooner, which was the whole point. Habit 2. Make yourself colder. This one feels backwards, so stay with me. To fall and stay asleep, your core temperature has to drop about a single degree. That drop is the physical starting gun for deep sleep. But a warm bedroom, a heavy body still radiating the day's heat, keeps that gun from firing, and you spend the night stuck in the shallow end. 2 moves fix it. Keep the room cooler than feels cozy. Somewhere in the mid-60s is the sweet spot. And take a warm shower about an hour before bed. That sounds like the opposite of cooling down, and that's the sneaky part. Warming your skin pulls blood to the surface, and when you step out, your body dumps that heat fast, and your core temperature plunges right on schedule. The payoff isn't subtle.
Deeper, slow-wave sleep, the exact stage where your body does its heaviest repair, the stage you've been skimming off the top for years. Habit 3. Close the kitchen about 3 hours before bed. Here's the mistake nearly everyone makes. The late dinner, the midnight snack, the little something while the show plays. Digestion is work. It raises your core temperature, the exact thing you just spent effort lowering, and it sends your blood sugar climbing and crashing all night. Worse, that cleanup crew we talked about, the one rinsing your brain during deep sleep, works best when your body isn't busy processing a burrito. Eat late and you hand your system a second job at the worst possible hour. Give it a 3-hour runway instead. Let digestion finish before sleep starts. The reward is a night without the mystery wake-up and a morning where you feel rested instead of vaguely hungover from a meal, not a drink. Habit 4. Get tomorrow out of your head and onto paper. This one wrecks more nights than any screen. You lie down and your brain, finally undistracted, starts running the list. The email you forgot, the thing you said, the problem with no solution at midnight. There's a name for why this happens, the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain refuses to fully release an unfinished task. It keeps them all running in the background, half open, humming with a low current of alert. And that quiet alarm holds your stress hormone up and deep sleep out of reach. You can't think your way out of it because the thinking is the trap. So don't. A few minutes before bed, write it down. Tomorrow's tasks, the loose worry, the thing you can't afford to forget, all of it onto a page. You're not solving anything. You're just telling your brain it's safe to stop holding the list because the list now lives somewhere else. The mental noise drops. The spiral loses its fuel. You get to fall asleep as yourself instead of as your to-do list. Habit 5, and it ties the other 4 together. Sleep and wake at roughly the same time. Yes, even on the weekend. Here's what people miss. Your body runs on a master clock, and that clock is obsessed with rhythm. It sets your melatonin release and your morning wake-up hormone based on when it expects darkness and light. When your schedule lurches around, late Friday, later Saturday, a recovery sleep-in Sunday, that clock has no idea what time zone you live in. The effect even has a name, social jet lag. You hand yourself the fog of flying across the world without ever leaving your bed. Anchor the clock instead, a steady sleep window, and even more important, a steady wake time. Do it long enough and something quietly wonderful happens. You start waking a minute or 2 before the alarm, gently, on your own, because your body finally knows what's coming. That isn't luck. That's a clock that trusts you. So there's the whole night, in order. Dim the lights an hour out, cool the room and the body, close the kitchen 3 hours before sleep. Empty tomorrow onto paper. Keep the clock steady. No supplements, no gadget, no 10-step ritual your brain was never impressed by. Just a handful of small, honest signals that let your body do the repair it was always trying to do. Because here's the truth underneath all of it.
Tomorrow doesn't start when the alarm goes off. It starts the night before, in the hour you thought didn't count. A productive day isn't something you summon at sunrise through sheer force of will. It's something you quietly build in the dark while you sleep, before you've done a single thing. Try it tonight, just one night. Then notice how the alarm feels in the morning, whether you beat it or fight it. Notice your focus at 2 in the afternoon, the hour that usually caves. Notice whether the fog shows up at all. Your body will answer faster than any planner ever could. It always knew how to build a good day. It was just waiting for you to stop wrecking the blueprint the night before.